Hey brothers, how's it going? JK, your brother in this struggle, on my way to lunch right now. I wanted to share, for those of you who are newer subscribers, one of the basic philosophies behind the porn reboot system. And this is something which I learned from one of my mentors, and I believe I shared it with you guys 2 years ago. So there are two ways to measure your progress in your reboot. And to be honest with you, if you're not following the porn reboot system, we can just consider it to be whatever you're using to end your out of control behavior, right? Two ways to measure it. And one leads to happiness, the other leads to unhappiness. And that's the important thing to remember. So the first way, which actually leads to unhappiness, is to measure your progress based on an ideal. So this is based on where you want to be. So you're like, I no longer want to deal with porn-induced erectile dysfunction, PIED. I want to be in a more intimate relationship. I want my relationship with my wife to be better. I want to have better control of my urges. And you measure it. You're like, that is the place I want to be. And I'm going to keep measuring it based on how close I am to that ideal. That leads to unhappiness. Why? Because you don't know what the ideal is. You've never actually lived a life free of pornography, but you're measuring towards it. So you keep telling yourself, oh, I'm not there yet, I'm not there yet. But do you know what there yet is? And that's why I tell guys not to count, right? Because you're counting towards what? What are you counting towards? You're counting towards something that you have never reached. And this is the reason why you'll fall for things like semen retention and NoFap and people who tell you you can quit porn in 30 days because they promise you that they can take you to a place that you have never been in a certain amount of time. And you feel good about that. It's reassuring for someone to tell you, hey, you can get here in a certain amount of time. At Porn Reboot, all we can tell you is that we can help you control your behavior in 90 days. But we cannot get you to quit porn and masturbation in 90 days. But we can give you all the tools that you need to do it. So that's the first way to measure your goal, to measure your progress, and it's the one that leads to unhappiness. The second one is to measure it based on where you're coming from, based on where you started, right? So you can measure your goal based on like, okay, cool. So I started this journey to reboot, or whatever you're using, right? I started this recovery journey, if that's a system you're using, a recovery system, maybe 12-step or working with a therapist a year ago. And when I look back at all the milestones, I've done very well. I've rebuilt intimacy in my life. I've become a much more social person. I'm taking better care of my nutrition and my fitness and my body. My mindset is better. I've started meditating. I have accountability for the first time. I'm not perfect. I still have urges. I still slip. I still relapse. But the important thing is I have something to measure. And that's how far I've come. And that leads to happiness because each time you look at that measurement, you feel good about yourself. You feel good about how far you've actually come versus trying to measure where you are going and you feel bad because all you can see is how far you are away from that goal. And that is one of the key principles in the porn reboot system. And it loops around to our principle of progress over perfection, which I will speak about on another video. So for those of you who are new to the channel, just wanted to share that with you. I'm JK, your brother in this struggle. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you'd like to learn more about our system, go ahead and click on the link in the description below to schedule a call with one of our reboot strategists. Have a wonderful day. Bye.